Hello, hello. Sorry for being so early. I just want to do stuff today. It's a Friday. I want to sit around in the evening and stream because that's just going to ruin every plan that I could make. So we're earlier today than usual. Hope you don't mind. Hope a few of you still make it. I mean, the ones that can listen to this probably did. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming by. Hello, I thought Don said there would be no Friday stream. Yeah, so what happened was that one cred cannot make it to the stream, and I was pretty busy yesterday. So we wanted to do something yesterday. I was pretty busy. I didn't really feel like it anyway. Had other stuff in my head, on my mind, and decided to do it today instead, delay my plans by a little bit, and just go with that. Please draw some squiggly lines to 20k, Mr. Duck. We've done that plenty of times. I'll refrain for now. Yeah. Before we start the show, and before I forget, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is, as always, FTX, formerly known as Portfolio. They have the best mobile app in the game, no fees. So if you want to check that out, you should. Links to that are in the description. They've been excellent to work with, so always nice to have partners like that. Did you get ghosted by that girl again? No. But it gets much worse, but we'll not go into it. We will not go into it. That story is, yeah, it's out there, my friends. It's out there, but I don't think I should talk about it. Dates, he had dates and girls on his mind. I did have a date, but Jesus Christ. Now you have to tell us? No. I mean, it is Friday, so we could go into it, but it's just not interesting. No, we have to go into it. Jesus Christ. Yeah, maybe at some point during the stream, if I run out of things to say, we can talk about my dating life. But I mean, there's really not that much interesting stuff going on. Sounds like the end of future dates? No. What the fuck, Don? Why? Did you have a septum piercing? Jesus Christ. Oh God, what have I gotten myself into? Better if Craig is not here to add commentary. I mean, he would roast the shit out of me. He always does anyway. To be honest, you're more interesting than the market at the moment. That is sad. Sad but true, probably. Sad but true. But no, it's just been a back and forth, basically. She's been busy. I've been busy. It's been going back and forth. And then, it's more of a casual thing anyway. It's kind of the TLDR. I don't want to go too deep into it. But yeah, I don't know. Modern dating life is confusing, not gonna lie. And I seem to take interest only in the girls that are into it for casual reasons, and never get any interest into the girls that want something serious, which is interesting. A little bit tough to deal with, but is what it is. I can handle it, and I mean, it's fun. It's just it's just a little bit all over the place. Don, I'm not going to talk about it. Yeah, now I did talk about it. You guys bullied me into it. And it's not a happy story. It's not a sad story. It's just a boring story. So yeah, before we get all into that kind of mess, if we get into it at all, I'd probably rather avoid it. We can talk about this recent dump, which is really not that big of a deal on the higher time frames, but people seem to be freaking out. So we can quickly go over that. Then I can talk about some of the stuff you have suggested in, like, I've been posting on Twitter that I would like to have some suggestions for Casual Friday. Some of you have done so. So we can go over some of those and then see where we are. For fuck's sake, I have the opposite problem. I mean, what's the problem with that then? I mean, I don't know. I don't see where the issue is. If you want something serious with someone that wants something serious, I mean, that's pretty easy, right? If you want something serious with someone that doesn't, and then vice versa, you meet someone that does want something serious and you're just in for it for like a casual thing, it's that's worse. Casual Friday should have a duck stating tip for casuals. No, man, I don't think I'm qualified to give too many tips. I mean, it's been wild the last few weeks, but yeah. Okay, let's start with Bitcoin first, and then we can do whatever the fuck you guys want to do. Embarrass me in front of the crowd, basically. It's all good. High time frame wise, right? Still at support. I honestly, and this looks really shit right now, I honestly could see us close the candle red at 37K. That would actually look better than the close like this. Because at the end of the day, right, 37K would still be closing at support, and that would show a slowdown of selling. It wouldn't look good, but it's not the end of the world. Right now, it just looks like we had a bounce from support that immediately got sold into and looks like shit, right? So I would actually not mind if we closed red at 37K. Obviously would mind if we closed like down at 30K or something. That would look really, really bad. But on the monthly, there's not that much there, right? There's a reason why I sold at 38K, which is still below current price. And that is because who the fuck knows where this market is going with the macro influence that we have, right? People are afraid of war. You don't necessarily want to be all into like some speculative made up currency that is called Bitcoin, or any even more speculative currencies, in my opinion anyway, right? When the market is nuts and no one knows what's going on, risk assets are probably not the worst, not the best bet, right? They're probably one of the worst ones. That said, if it's at high time frame support, I'm always going to buy it, right? So if you close at 37K and then get a washout afterwards, I will buy. If we close like this, get a washout and come back up, I will buy as well. So in general, I'm still looking for buys given we're still at monthly support. But yeah, I mean, it looks kind of shitty, is what it is. The time frame that looks a little bit better is the weekly, because that we have talked about, right? If we get if we get like a pullback into 38K, that starts looking okay. It's just we have 10 days to close the monthly, and that is a little bit concerning because right now it's looking kind of shitty. And with regards to what I said earlier, that if we close at 37K, the monthly, right, I would think that we need to go lower intra-month, right? And that would ruin the weekly setup. So right now it's a little bit in the air. If we dump to 38K and then bounce and close the monthly strong, then that's a good monthly setup to buy. It's just right now they don't really agree with each other. So for me, it's difficult. So I'm not going to buy 38K, probably. Not entirely sure. I'm still like, I still got the itch in my fingers to kind of do business there, but not entirely sure. Like, it's not a guarantee that I'm going to buy there. And I mean, if we just reverse, because this dump really hasn't been too big, and lower time frame wise, it's still head and shoulders, right? Maybe I buy into strength, but it's rough right now. It's really, really rough because it's out of our hands, right? People have been making or trying to make sense of this using TA. And then, I mean, I posted about this yesterday where I just compared Bitcoin to the S&P, right? So Bitcoin here, S&P here. And then what we basically did was, so you can even count the candles, right? So we had, this was the last candle, the green candle before the dump on Bitcoin, right? And you can see these lines here show the same time frame on the S&P, right? So we had like an up candle, then a down candle, and you can see how it mirrors each other perfectly, right? And we had sideways in here for Bitcoin, went sideways for the S&P, and then it's been pretty much the exact same. So you're not really trading Bitcoin right now, you're trading the S&P, and the only kind of TA that you can use to make sense of it all is Bitcoin stronger than the S&P or not? And there's really not that much there, right? So what I mean by like the strength is that if you get a massive dump on the S&P and Bitcoin just chills or even goes up, that's some relative strength that needs to maintain for a while to kind of make this go away again, this correlation that we have. Right now, for example, you see a quite a sizable S&P dump, not so much on Bitcoin. So that's not the worst sign in the world, but it's not enough, right? And that makes trading Bitcoin just kind of a non-starter, because I have an edge in trading Bitcoin. I don't have an edge in trading the S&P on the lower time frames. So I'm not going to get involved unless that breaks. I don't see the point. And the high time frame conviction that I had, that only really carries through for the first test. And we did test it on the monthly and on the weekly, right? So we tested monthly and weekly support and we bounced. Right now, I have less conviction in any kind of levels because we've used them already. So I don't know. I hope that, I mean, it's as shitty as it sounds. There's really not that much to talk about in that regard, because yeah, the S&P isn't our market, and you can try to make it. The thing is, if you remember back in 2018 when the market got really boring, people tried to trade Forex and the S&P, and they get absolutely rinsed, right? That stayed around for like 3 or 4 weeks until all of those people kind of came back quietly and didn't talk about it anymore. And the reason for that is that these markets are much, much more difficult to trade. Or there's even less edge. Most of the people that trade DFX markets that we have on Twitter are people that have paid courses for a weird reason or another. So yeah, I would take their advice with a grain of salt. And yeah, that's just my opinion. Gold is strong at the moment. Yeah, gold has been strong in comparison to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just been following the stocks. Gold been going up. From an investment standpoint, I hate gold. I think it's stupid to hold something that doesn't really produce any value. It just sits there, doesn't do anything. Not a big fan. From a chart or like from in general, like a trend following kind of standpoint, this actually looks quite bullish, right? It's just gold takes forever to play out. The last time I was really bullish gold was at this resistance. If you remember back, it's quite a while ago. Just based on the fact that we tested this resistance so often, and then we broke out, and I could see the same thing come in here again, right? So you have it tested 3 times. Back in the day, this was a test, you could argue, once, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and it broke out. So this can still go for a while before it goes further up. But yeah, it's not something that I'm particularly interested in. So yeah, gold's not something that is interesting, really. I mean, if I had to make a bet on something that just does nothing, I would much rather buy Bitcoin. Am I an idiot thinking gold rally equals something bad in the real world? No, not really. It does behave a little bit like that. Dating sucks. I'm married to TradingView. Oof. I mean, fair. What about 33K? The thing is with like these lower targets, right? I'm not gonna buy anywhere close to that. People have been, if you remember back like a couple of weeks, people targeted 29K and tried and were like, okay, if we go there, it's gonna moon afterwards. And I said, we're either not going to go there or we're gonna go much, much lower. And then we bounced the support above, right? I think it's the same thing with 33K. We're either not going there and 38K holds, or we're going much lower. And if we go lower, I don't think we necessarily stop at the 29K level that everyone was eyeing before it bounced. So that's that. 38K is quite a good support. It's just, like I said, with the monthly being like it is, pretty tough situation. Pretty, I think there's a good argument to be made about just leaving the market as is, ignoring it until it's easier to trade again. So. I'm gonna try to not make this into a normal episode, because we have plenty of those, and I think the last one was just on Wednesday, so I don't want to just repeat everything I said on Wednesday. So we'll keep it more casual. Could you tell me what Bitcoin does except just sitting there? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Bitcoin doesn't really do much besides just sitting there, in my opinion. That's why investing in Bitcoin is difficult for me, even though I think it should probably be worth more than gold, because I think it does the sitting around part better than gold. But yeah, it is tough. That's why you don't see me talk about, oh, my cold storage, blah, 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 because I don't really invest in crypto anymore. We need some duck NFT alpha. NFT wise, it's pretty shitty right now as well, I think, for almost everyone. So I think NFTs right now, if you want to make money, you gotta buy the big ticket items, which is just shitty for almost everyone that doesn't have a bunch of money. So if I talk about it, there's only gonna be like 100 of you, like let's say 10,000 people are watching, 100 of you can even afford the NFTs that would do well, right? So it's pretty tough on the NFT side of things. Besides minting stuff and yeah, but even the mints haven't been doing too well, with the exception of a few. So NFT stuff, there's not really that much to share either, which just makes the market really boring right now. That's why it's Casual Friday, right? The market doesn't have to be too exciting. Dude, it's storming so badly in Germany right now. It's insane. Yo, yeah. That was Bitcoin. ETH-wise, I don't think we even need to talk about this. We talked about this uptrend last week, but kind of looks rough. If this breaks, I think we're going to break down fully. And that would be coinciding with Bitcoin being weak. Because something that people don't really realize is that when ETH dumps, oftentimes it actually takes Bitcoin with it. It's big enough nowadays to do so. It's the same the other way around. It's just that now ETH has some influence on Bitcoin price as well. So if you start losing trend lines on ETH BTC, as stupid as it sounds, if Bitcoin doesn't go up, both can go down together. Same in Holland, just lost the window. Jesus Christ, hope you're okay, dude. The thing about Bitcoin is there should be something like Bitcoin. Like imagine you're from Ukraine right now. I mean, yeah, for stuff like that, it's pretty good. That's why I'm saying like it's better than gold, because gold does the same thing, right? If you look at to Turkey, for example, they have hyperinflation, and every single family in Turkey basically has gold, and they've had it for a long, long time, right? They've put their money into gold because they don't trust their government to keep their currency stable. And gold does that pretty well, but in comparison to Bitcoin, it does it really shittily. So, like I said, I think Bitcoin should be worth more than gold, but I think both is just it's nice to have. I think it's important to have, but I don't think it's something that necessarily you should invest in from like a usage standpoint. It doesn't really benefit anyone other than the people in trouble, which is obviously important. It's just like you're not putting your money to work, basically. And people are fucking hating me for saying that. And I mean, smarter people than me might disagree with me. Is what it is, just my opinion. And it's like, it's a bullish thing to say Bitcoin should be worth more than gold, right? Because Bitcoin is much, much smaller. So it's not like I'm saying it doesn't have a place. I'm just saying it's an investment sector that I'm not particularly interested in. So yeah, that's that. Let's move on. Do you own a Porsche? No. What I do, and this is the nice question to go back to the casual side of things. What I do is I rent cars, which might sound weird to people, but I don't know. Like I don't want to have cars standing around that I barely use. I'd much rather just rent different cars, drive pretty much everything under the moon, and try stuff out, right? So I rent stuff. I have rented a few cool things, and then just drive around with them until I get sick of it, and then give it back, and then try something else. So it's not like I don't know like why people need to kind of own cars if they just use it once a month, right? I'm not driving around much. I work from home. I travel by plane, not by car. What the fuck do I need a car for? So yeah. And especially given like where I live, you don't necessarily need a car. 300 kilometers per hour on German Autobahn. The fastest I've done on the Autobahn is 270, which is, let me actually calculate. The fastest on public roads I've done is 170 miles per hour. Haven't gone faster than that. Not entirely sure if I want to. Like at some point, it does feel a little bit overboard, right? Like you don't you don't need to drive that fast. It's nice to get around, but it's like okay, at some point it's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's like 160, 170 mph. So it is fun, and the Autobahn. I mean, you can drive that fast. It's not really encouraged. If you crash with that speed, you're partially at fault, even if you're not. Like even if it's not your fault that you crashed. By you kind of driving recklessly or whatever, it's partially your fault, even if you don't get like a ticket for driving that fast. Do people actually drive this fast? Yeah. I mean, if the Autobahn is empty, you can go fast. I've done trips where my average speed was 200 kilometers, which is, I hate that I have to translate everything into American, which is 120-ish mph. If you have like a good Autobahn stretch, you can go. Opinion on Canada and the whole trucker thing. I found very infuriating being able to lock up people's account. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Like that politics side of things, I just don't want to get into. It's not where I'm from. I don't like that they lock up accounts, obviously. I think that's way over the top. Whether I agree or disagree with what people protest for doesn't really have anything to do with it. I think it's over the top to kind of fuck people over for donating to something. It's not necessarily something you should be doing. So, yeah. Do you go to the gym every day though? No. I go to the climbing gym every second day and then to the gym like every other day. So, yeah, I more usually climb or like boulder than I do go to the normal gym. Cred's been trying to get me super buff in the gym, but the problem is that like if I gain too much weight, I cannot climb anymore. So I'm just like, not entirely sure if I want to. So yeah. Oh, this is gonna turn into a weird episode, but I mean, I don't know if you guys are in for it, but it's Casual Friday and I don't have a guest and I don't have cred. So you can blame cred for it if it turns out shitty and you get bored. That's pretty damn fast. Yeah, I mean, That's the cool part about like German roads. People actually know how to drive most of the time. Even though I have had two near accidents. One time, like we have actually two lane roads that I can actually, and I'm gonna draw this. We have 2 lane roads that have unlimited speed, so like no speed limit. And a guy was driving here with his car, right? And he had like a thing behind him. I don't know what they're called, with stuff in it, right? So like a wagon. I don't fucking know. And what he did was he just randomly, like the entire road was like there was no one there, and I was driving here going 240 or something, and he just randomly got out. And this is something that people very rarely, it happens very, very rarely, but when people disagree with the speed limit that we have in Germany, like as in that you can't go this fast, they like some people are mad enough to kind of try to fuck you over. So he was actually like going into my lane, and I had to full brake and then started sliding and shit. Was pretty bad. Almost hit his shit thing here. Yeah, so it does. That's why like I don't go much. Like I don't want to go faster than 270 because if someone is stupid or wants to fuck you over, they can. So yeah, bear market here. Don't drawing a highway. Yeah, I mean this is what the market's become, right? I mean look at this. We've had no movement in the last year, really. Like, I mean, price has been the same for the last 400 days. Roughly, I mean, plus minus 10K to the up and down side. I mean, might as well draw cars driving on the highway, right? But yeah, it can get dangerous going that fast. I cannot recommend. Like, if you're from America and you come to Germany and try to go that fast, you should probably not. You should just probably go on the racetrack, which I'm doing as well, actually. It's fun. But it's safer too, like you don't need to go so fast on public roads. Trailers, oh yeah, thank God. Thank you very much. So yeah, that's that. You went full on kamikaze to teach you a lesson. Yeah, basically. There's a bunch of like idiots all over the world, and they have like they don't really think, right? They see you go fast and like, fuck this guy. What car do you drive? Like I said, I rent and then I drive like a bunch of cars. I've rented supercars, I've rented less than supercars, I've driven around with the shittiest ones. It's just, you gotta try everything, you know? Curious how you could meet your dates. COVID makes it hard. I mean, you can just do online dating. I've done a bunch of online dating, a bunch of like just real life dating as well. Online dating is booming, man. Especially during COVID times. What car even goes 270? Oh, but that's kilometers per hour. Yeah, that is kilometers per hour. That's not miles per hour. Do you like electric cars? Yeah, I do. I mean, electric cars. I don't know if you guys have ever driven electric cars, but the acceleration is the fun part, right? The 0 to 100 or 0 to 70. That's the fun part, and then it like the petrol cars, the high end petrol cars are more fun, obviously on the high end side of things, but the acceleration is insane on some of the electric cars. It's funny, right? Like some of the cheaper electric cars in like the 500 to 100,000 range, right? They have the same acceleration than some supercars going like for 200 or 300,000, which is insane. Where's Cred? Tuned in a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, Cred's traveling, so yeah. So you're stuck with me, and the market is shit. So we're stuck with talking about cars and shit. I'm sorry to disappoint. It is what it is. You showed up on a Friday. What did you expect? I should have actually gotten myself a whiskey. I might actually still do that. And then we can... Nah, I don't know. I have stuff to do later. But Maybe next time. Maybe we do a drunk stream next time, because what am I supposed to talk about? All of these altcoins look like garbage, besides the China coins. I don't know why, but there's like a China narrative going again. All of the China coins have done quite well in the last few days. Neo's been up a little bit. Obviously, you still don't want to buy this garbage, but there has been a China coin narrative that I don't know where it comes from. If anyone knows, let me know. I have no idea. All things China are up. So yeah. Do you game? I do. From time to time. I've been pretty lax in the gaming front. Like, I've not done too much. Just I don't know. The older you get, I mean, the older I get, the less motivated I am to sit down and game. What I've been doing basically is, if I'm bored, I get out the guitar and play a little bit of the guitar, or go climbing, and that's it. I don't like. If I'm not playing with friends, I can't be asked right now to play video games. What would you do if you would start with €1,000 into crypto? That's a good question. We can go over that. So you start with 1,000 and you're like, okay, I can lose all of this. I just want to make it, right? There's two different sides that you can go on. One, you just want to invest it decently, and you want to turn that 1,000 into 5,000 at some point, which is a nice return, right? Or you're like, okay, I don't mind if this goes away, but I want to have 100,000 if it goes well. And contrary to popular belief, one of the worst ways to turn that 1,000 into 100,000 is go on the leverage platform, right? That's the one thing that you do not want to do. Instead, what you want to do is you look for stuff that is very, very volatile, right? And sometimes that's coins with a narrative. Sometimes that's NFTs. Sometimes, like, it's in crypto, it's ever changing, right? But you look for that one thing that is moving, and that is moving the most, be that during crashes or during upturns. And then you take concentrated bets, and this is for the degen, okay, I want to turn 1K into 100K kind of strategy, right? And then you take decent sized bets on that kind of instrument that is moving much, and you just pray to God that it's gonna work out. Because the thing is, if you put that 1,000 into a slow moving coin, slow moving coins tend to dump more, which might seem weird, but if you've had your 1,000 in Litecoin for the last 5 years, you've been losing money against Bitcoin, and it's not like the missing volatility has not done you any good, right? Most of the stuff that isn't moving at all is bleeding out, and bleeding out is always bad, right? So in general, you don't really want to touch the stuff that isn't moving much. That's a no-go, right? There's two things that you don't want to touch. One is the bleeding out, and one is okay, this is down 90%, right? It just immediately goes down, because those are like, this is a scam. This is like, people try to say, okay, this is down 90% in like the last 5 days, it's a great buy. No, it's not. So that's something you want to be avoiding, and then the slow bleed, definitely avoid too. But the strong moving coins that move up and down a lot, right? Those are the ones that you want to be looking at, and those are the ones that you want to be trading, and you want to be trading them on the bullish side of things, not on the bearish side. So you look for the strongest moving assets and the ones that move the most, and then you take big bets, and then you pray to God that you don't buy it the last time it pumps, because at some point it's gonna turn back down again. And what you do at that point, right, when let's say you've made that possible like a couple times, you made that rotation back and forth, it's gone up and up and up, and you caught some of the up and down moves. What you want to be doing is you want to decrease, the higher your portfolio goes, you want to decrease the size of your bets, right? So relative, obviously, right? So let's say you turned your 1K into 10K, you don't want to be trading the same way that you traded with 1K, right? Because 10K is more significant money to you. And if you lose it, it's much, much harder to build back up, right? So you take a little bit less risk. Maybe you buy less of the coin that is moving strongly, or you take profits earlier, whatever, and then you slow it down, and then you go into the more kind of collected trading mind, which is the second way to kind of build your portfolio. And the reason why I did it in this order, or explained it in this order, is because I think most people should actually be trading the stuff that is moving big time until they're somewhat satisfied with what they've done, and then transition into the slower approach, right? And the slower approach and more safe approach is you just have a bunch of Bitcoin, you have a bunch of ETH, you add on dips, and you sell when it absolutely goes nuts, like a little bit. You don't sell everything. And that way you can kind of outperform, but you're not going to make the big life-changing money or whatever. And then once you're a little bit comfortable with both, right? So you started out like trading the stuff that moves big, and then you moved into the slower ones. You can then just take a small portfolio, like small size of a small part of your portfolio, and kind of do the Deacon stuff that you did in the beginning with it, and keep the rest of it in the more stable stuff. That's the way I would do it anyway, because if you're just investing in Bitcoin, waiting for 100x, probably not going to happen, right? But yeah, leverage is going to be your killer. If you do the same with leverage, 99.9% of you are not going to come out with anything. And I've seen it too often. That's why I say it so often. Mooncarl was exposed for paper trading. I mean, Mooncarl was exposed for being an idiot years ago. So yeah, he's just going to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. And people are still going to listen to him. But yeah, it's pretty tough, right? What I'm basically saying is, if you start with a small amount, you start out taking smart gambles, basically, which is tough advice to give anyone, because most people, when they start gambling, they start falling into gambling habits, and most people lose it all. And that's a little bit of a problem, but it's the way to. Most people go through the cycle of, like, they have 1,000, they turn it into 10,000, they think they have it figured out, they turn that 10,000 back into zero, they deposit again 1,000, right? They put in another 1,000 into their account, and then very, very slowly build it up. So just be advised that, like, most people, at least get like completely fucked once. Even like the moment you start thinking you're a genius, you should ease off the gas, because that is the danger point, at least when you're new to this kind of stuff. So yeah, I think most people in crypto have come very, very close to bankruptcy. It's just how the space works. So yeah, it's tough to give new people advice, because most of them are going to take it, and even if it's good advice, they're gonna get into like way over their head, start risking too much, and then go down a bad route. How would you describe the moment you first met with Cred? What the fuck kind of question is that? Am I supposed to say like a magical moment, like a Disney castle, whatever, Disney moment where like the birds started singing, and like, what the fuck do you expect me to say? I saw Cred, we went in for a hug, and we've been friends. I mean, we were friends before, but yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck am I supposed to say? Yeah, we met, and we became good friends, basically, both in real life and online. But only say it was a romantic moment if it really was one. It was in a 5-star hotel lobby with like a bunch of water fixtures and everything. I mean, we met the first time in Las Vegas, actually, which is a shitty place to meet, but is what it is. What song was playing? No, I couldn't even. That's one thing with me. Like, I cannot remember names, and I cannot remember like titles of songs or anything really. Like, I've always, if you give me a number, I can. There's a much higher chance that I can remember it over a name. It's always been that way. Where did you go for your first date with Crit? We went to the casino, but it wasn't the first date. Jesus Christ, you guys. Chill out. Usually people leave Las Vegas with STDs, not friends. I actually got very close to that. Believe it or not. Fucking Christ. Vegas was nuts. Should we break the rule of Vegas and actually talk about what happened in Vegas? Because Vegas was fucking nuts. The problem is, I talk about it, and the person that I'm going to talk about is actually someone relatively famous, not really, but like somewhat famous in the real world. So a bunch of you idiots are going to like write them on Instagram or Twitter or something, and it's going to be really fucking awkward. Did you lose money in Vegas? I actually made money. I didn't bet big. That said, I was like in the area. I don't know if any of you know that casino, but I think the minimum bet size is like $50. And I have never been to a casino before. So I just withdrew like 1,000 or something, and then just played like the minimum size for a while, just to kind of get comfortable and actually know what the fuck I'm doing. I played craps with a bunch of people from CT. Most of them, like, for some reason, like, most of the guys actually left, and I was left with the girls, and we just kind of played crabs, and I made a bunch of money on that. Walked out with like, I don't know, not much, but like 2,000 more than I walked into it. So I mean, that's fun. But gambling isn't really my kind of thing. If you don't have an edge, it's kind of boring. But the drinking was fun. I mean, you get shit-faced in Vegas, right? They give you free drinks while you're gambling. So it's basically just a night out, making like party, doing something on the side. And then I was lucky enough to kind of make some money. Jennifer Lopez? No. I'm not gonna name names because I'm afraid that you guys are gonna add her. But so I was in Vegas with Cred and with a bunch of other people, and I was in this VIP party, and met these there was like a bunch of CT people around that I don't think are around anymore. And I was just standing there, and there were like two girls like standing right next to me, trying to like listen in or whatever. And I just invited them into the group. We got to talk. One of them was like a B-tier celebrity or whatever, from way back. Used to be Miss State or something. I don't want to say the state, but yeah, there's like this Miss Universe, Miss whatever. And she and I got to talk. And I don't know why, but she went completely nuts over me, and turned into a fucking weird night. But we should really talk about this when Cred's around, because it's much more funny when he like tells his part of the story. But yeah, so she kind of went nuts, and she went. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but when someone kind of goes too aggressive for you, it kind of gets like, it turns you off. I don't know if that's just me, but it's just fucking weird when people go too crazy. And she definitely did. So I'd like bailed, and she called me the entire night and then stalked me during the entire event. And it was fucking weird. So yeah. That is like one of the stories in Vegas. I could go into more details, but the more details I give, the more likely someone is gonna find out who it is, and then I'm gonna be, yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with it, and I don't want to deal with it. So I'm not going to go into it. But I mean, if Fred and I ever do like an episode like this where we just talk about shit, I'm willing to like go and talk, like tell more of the story, because every time we do something, it turns out really funny. But yeah, for today, that has to be it. I'm just picturing you as a duck in those Vegas stories. I mean, that's why she went crazy over me, right? Never seen a duck before. Played crabs, yeah. When I said we played crabs, I was like, oh, someone's gonna make a comment about it. Um, Half of his histories involves random girls. I mean, that's just how I guess that's just how life works, right? I mean, the interesting stories always involve the other sex, just how it is. But yeah, that was Vegas was wild, and the funny thing is that was in the bear market, and you could really feel it. And then price dumped through support while we are there, and everyone got depressed. So yeah, that is some of the real life stories. It's way back. I didn't talk about this for publicly for like 4 years or something, because I was afraid that I was gonna have to deal with the blowback, because fucking hell, that girl was nuts. Very, very crazy. Is it Bulma? No, no, no. Bulma seems fun. I've never talked with her, but she seems fun. Riley Reid? No, no, no. Is whatever. Don, could you reveal how old you are? Back then I was mid-20s. You can kind of add up to roughly where I'm at right now. People are always surprised that like they think I'm older than I am. Point to the chart where it happened. I mean, it was during the bear market, so there was not that long. So yeah, there you go. You should tell a random celebrity name and then delete the stream right away. That's how legends start. No. And I mean, the thing is, like, crypto people have crazier stories than you would think, because yeah, believe it or not, a bunch of the people in crypto have a lot of money and they spend it on stupid shit to impress girls and stuff. And if you're around that, you're gonna meet like famous people. So yeah, but it's not my kind of world. Dubai was nuts as well, where people just spend way too much money on stupid shit. Prostitutes being included. So many prostitutes. It's not my kind of style. But yeah, that was Dubai basically. A bunch of prostitutes and CT celebs. Bulma saving herself for Cred Duck? Yeah, I get that. With his accent, I mean, she better. Bro, you should keep an in real life specials episode. These are fire. I mean, I'm gonna run out of stories. There's not that many stories, especially since I kind of tend to avoid the big completely legion parties of when Twitter meets, because like I said, I'm not into the prostitutes and like flexing party stuff at all. It's not my kind of world. No such thing as prostitutes. You pay for it one way or another. They're just honest about it. I'm not saying, like, I have no problem with anyone, like, with prostitutes or whatever. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do. It's just not something I'm into, right? So, like, I'm not going to pay for any of that sort. I mean, most of the fun is kind of the game to get there, you know, for me anyway. So it's kind of like you defeats the purpose, right? Not that many stories, yeah, sure. I mean, not that many stories that I can tell anyway. I think this one's already on the edge, because the thing is, like, when people listen to these, right, they're always gonna, for some reason, there's always gonna be one person that listens to it that actually has the ability to, for some weird reason, like, piece all of it together, like this Sherlock Holmes kind of guy in the comments, that pieces it all together and then finds out who it is and then DMs them, and then you're in deep shit, right? And I mean, deep shit wouldn't really be that bad, but I would feel bad. So yeah. Don't check out the magic chart. Would be keen to hear your thoughts. I mean, isn't magic not even really on TradingView? I mean, this is just a up trading chart. Like when you have something that goes up, right? Even when the market kind of sucks, you don't want to fade that. So if you have a position, keep it. I don't really see a point in selling it, right? If you want to build a position, whether you want to do it, that gets a little bit more difficult. This is kind of getting to a parabolic state. And I think if you want to get a position, right, you want to wait for it to break this diagonal, wipe out a little bit, and then you can buy wherever that may be. But I mean, it looks like it's showing strength. Like this is quite strong in comparison to ETH. So I'm not bearish on it, but there's not that much for me to say about this. Zach will find who it is. Please spare me. Google's every misstate for the past 10 to 20 years. Yeah. Don spilled some real life alpha. Crypto's dead anyway. Need to work on our real life game. I mean, what do you want to know? You ask questions. This is a casual Friday that has nothing to do with crypto. It's just been like, it went into the degen stuff straight away. So I might as well ask me stupid questions, and I'll see if I want to answer them or not. Dark mode, please no. Fuck off. I find dark mode. It's just not my style. I like it more like this. Casual Fridays kicks ass. I think like a bunch of you guys are gonna love it, and then the silent majority is gonna fucking hate it. Which is fine by me. It's a one-off episode, and everyone that is kind of in so far has kind of signed up for the ride, right? Because I gave an announcement that this is what it was gonna be. But yeah, sorry for the guys that hate it. It's gonna be normal next Wednesday again. So I'm very proud to be Dawn Maxi now. Turns out the guy's a GigaChat. That is not. I mean, I'm just normal. I'm just a normal kind of dude. Very, very normal. It's just I'm a normal guy that has weird shit. Like for me, and this has always been the case. When I do stuff, weird shit happens to me. That's always the case. Like if something crazy happens, I'm probably involved. Like that's just how it is. And I don't know. I find it nice. I don't want to complain about it because that makes life a little bit spicy, right? When you have like weird shit happen, even if it's negative weird stuff, it's like it adds spice to the life, which I don't mind. But yeah, I kind of attract the craziness. Casual Friday drunk. Maybe next time. I need to be somewhat sober for later. What do you do on your first dates? It depends. So like sometimes I do like bigger stuff. I mean, it really depends. So sometimes it's just a normal kind of you meet up and you have like some food or coffee or something and see where it goes. I actually had one where I just invited a girl to my pool. And that actually worked out quite well, but it's like, yeah. This like when the date starts like that, it's never gonna end serious, right? It's just yeah. And then what I like to do is like do like a little bit out of the ordinary stuff, like parachuting, like jumping out of an airplane together. That kind of stuff is fun to me. But most people aren't up for it, right? So gotta find the right one to make stuff like that happen. Like bungee jumping, that kind of stuff is fun. But one Most of the time, like, you don't know who shows up. And for me, this is like, I don't really mind, because at the end of the day, like, even if the person that shows up isn't really my type, it's like you have like a fun date and then you just never do it again. It doesn't really matter. But two, there's a lot of trust involved, right? Like, especially on the woman's side of things. If you don't seem trustworthy, they're obviously not gonna go for anything else but the normal kind of coffee date. Because, and I totally get that. I wouldn't, like, I personally, as a woman, would not want to meet someone that I don't know in private, right? It's not a good idea. So yeah, I just, like, sometimes I go climbing with them, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it depends on the person. But usually, the more kind of exciting, the better. It's more fun that way. Could you do TA of your charming strategies? I don't know how to draw lines on that. And I mean, I'm not this kind of guru in trading. This guru in dating, because I mean, this is not what I am. Probably not the person that you want to take advice from. As someone that has been, I mean, I don't know, it's just been casual stuff for me. And if most people should be looking for serious relationships, and I'm starting to get into the age where you need to do that as well. So, hey, Don, still holding Tezos? Yeah, with regrets in my heart. I really don't like how the chart is looking. There's a good chance I'm gonna dump it in the next few days, because good news, no follow through, and now it's starting to bleed out. And I told you guys that you don't want to be holding the stuff that is not moving. And even though this is the opposite as Litecoin, right? This is not moving but upwards. If you get what I mean, right? Litecoin is the opposite, not moving but downwards, but it's still not good. So yeah, I could see myself sell this again for like round tripping it basically. I was up more than 30% at some point. I don't even know, like, if I sold right now, how much I'd be up. Like 10% maybe. I personally, as a woman, this seems a gold mine of clippings for credit. Did I say that? Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm gonna say stupid shit. I think there's a bunch of shit that you could take out of context and make me sound incredibly stupid. That's always how I've been. You just have to deal with it. I live in Los Angeles, met a girl from Germany. She said after you go on 2 dates in Germany, you are considered a couple. Is that true? No. What the fuck is she smoking? That's not true at all. Who the fuck's saying that? That sounds like the most stupid thing I've ever heard. If that was the case, I'd be dating 5 different women right now. Like, what? Or like, not dating. I'd be a couple with 5 different women right now. I mean, what? No, I mean, the thing is, in general, like, when you date, right, it takes a while to kind of figure the other person out. And it's really tough to figure the other person out after one date. So, I mean, for me, I start kind of considering whether I actually want to kind of spend time with a person on the second date. Not, okay, I'm a couple with that person. Would have to click really hard for that to be the case. I just think she wants to be with you and took like her Germanness as an excuse. Like, oh, in my culture, you have to be my woman now. And then you just almost fell for it. Don is the Tinder swindler? Nah, man. I take, if anything, I'm the reverse, man. I meet with them, I take them on cool adventures, and I'm like, okay, was nice meeting you. Doesn't really work for me, but hope you had a great time. That's kind of the way I do things. Why are crazy girls so addictive? Don't ask me, man. Don't ask me. It's the curse. It's a curse. So yeah, I'm the last person to ask for that. Something something with I don't know. I find girls that have problems in their life interesting. Like, and it's not good. You should be looking for more stable people, but it's something that that problem I have had for years and years now. So, dude, you guys are having way too much fun. This is gonna be the weirdest fucking episode ever. I don't even know if I can keep this on the channel, honestly. People are gonna look at it and then listen in and be like, what the fuck is this? This is a crypto trading channel and this guy is talking about random stupid shit. Like, what the fuck? Because you want to fix them? Maybe. Who the fuck knows? I mean... Is this a relationship advice stream? Charting chances to get laid? Who the fuck? I don't know what this stream is. I don't like where it's going, but I'm here for it. We just roll with it because, I mean, why not, right? I mean, we started out casual, so I think like people can just turn off if they don't like it. I have no regrets. This is my first time watching you. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. This is not the usual experience. I'm not entirely sure if that's like selling the usual thing or not, as in if you're actually enjoying this or not, but I don't think any sane person would enjoy this. You're the one who wanted us to drive the show. That is true. I've said you guys can kind of make your shit and make your kind of stream come true. And I mean, I guess I know where that is now. I wonder what kind of chat stories Sam has. He has to have a couple of super crazy ones. I don't think he would ever talk about it. Like, that's the problem when you're like a public person with like a company. Maybe once he retires, he's willing to talk about it. I'd love to have him on the show and talk about real life with him. But like the crazy stuff that should not be talked about is obviously not something that you're going to talk about when you're the head of a company, right? Take Bitcoin on a date and fix it? Not entirely sure if anyone can. This looks so shit. I mean, the daily looks kind of fine, really. Like, in isolation, this is still fine. It's just the monthly is the one. It looks rough. Best case scenario for me, close at support, go sideways for another month, and then slowly start walking up. Imagine this kind of chart. This is the chart that I would buy and take to 60K or plus. So maybe we just pray for this one and just let it go until then. Don't just make sure to do a little recap, not of the stories about crypto. I mean, the recap of the stories would be even weirder than everything else. Is this how all bear markets episodes will go? I mean, maybe. I've not... Last bear market, I didn't have a regular stream to do. I just streamed every week or two. And the Twitch episodes were kind of like this, to be fair. Anyone that has been around since the Twitch days, this has always been how Twitch was. It's just never made, like, the degeneracy has never made it to YouTube. And probably never should. I mean, I should probably, like, legitimately delete this video after we're done. Rename episode to 50 Shades of Dawn. Oh no. Oh no. I can already see, like, people take this shit way too serious, and then I'm gonna get a bunch of stupid questions for the next 10 streams. Tell us a story about how you used to short in 2018. I mean, that was pretty boring. It's basically the exact same way you short any other time. And honestly, like, in hindsight, this was like such a massive bull run, right? What I just did was I shorted resistance, which sounds crazy, right? But back then that was not a thing. So I shorted basically, this was the block I was watching. once we bounced from 6K, this was the block I was watching, and I shorted into it. It dumped, it came back up, and I actually shorted again, and it went down. I mean, there's not that much to it. The funny thing is, like, it was really, really clean back then. Like, trading wise, it was really clean. We had a solid floor at roughly 6K, right? We bounced from that a million times. Like, even if you use like this kind of entire area, but like the 6K area roughly, this was the floor for so long, right? And you had a really clean trending environment with lower highs and stuff. Right now, the trading environment is much, much more difficult, right? It's the same here, right? In this instance, it's a little bit more tricky because we had a high, hit a higher high, market still looks like shit. What the fuck do you do? And the answer is it's probably going to range, and everyone is going to lose their minds, and streams are going to be like this one for the rest of eternity. That's how it's going to be. Don't be like Fred and delete this. This is gold. I mean, probably my definition of gold, right? It is pretty, yeah. Did any of the girls find out about your online duck persona? Only if it's really serious. And that has only been once. So I don't really share it. I don't really share much about crypto at all in general. It's just, I don't know. And this might sound weird, but I'm very, I try to avoid like the money thing. I just try to come across as like a normal guy. Because the moment you involve money, it just gets weird. You attract the wrong woman and it's just not fun. So like, that's why I don't tend to mention crypto, because if you're in crypto, right, let's be real, you're either rich or you're a mega nerd, or you're kind of loser, right? I used to be like all of those three things at some point, like in my life. If you don't want to be the rich crypto dude, like introduce yourself as that. If you're looking for something fun, if you're looking for someone that is just interested in your money, go ahead, do it. But it's not me. And if you're not, it's just like it takes a while to explain it. And so I tend to kind of just go around that question of what you do in a different, like in multiple ways. But yeah, it's not easy. It's honestly like dating is not easier when you're rich or when you have money, unless you're just looking for that girl that is interested in your money and not yourself. So you kind of have to, it's pretty difficult to kind of make, like, you have suspicions that are very, very weird, right? When you're like, oh, I have like enough money to be happy. And then you're kind of like, is this girl really into me because of myself or because of my money? And I'm not really into girls that are in it for the money, you know? I don't know. It's just not my world, I guess. So for me, it takes a while to kind of figure out how like a girl works, or a woman, whatever. A lot of people take offense when I say girl, how a woman works. And then I'm fine with sharing, but it takes a while. Girls are in it for your tech. Yeah, I mean, basically, if that's not the case, right? Like if you're in for like the bling bling, that's not my life, right? That's not like never gonna be my life. So yeah. Same, don't need women to know how poor I am. I mean, that's also fine. I think like if you fit, you fit, and it doesn't really matter if you have money or not. Interested in 30K to 31K, Don? No. I am interested in buying 25 or maybe 38K if we kind of dip there fast. And I'm not too excited about 38K because of the macro situation, as stupid as it sounds. But just chart-wise, I should probably be buying the support, which is 38.2K. So for me, 38.2 or a wipeout of the support, which would start at like 25K. The what do you do question is impossible to avoid. How do you deflect that? A good question, and I feel weird every time I do it. But I mean, I don't only do like trading, right? I advise, and I mean, this is like a little bit, I mean, tongue in cheek, but I advise Loomlock, for example. So I can say I'm an advisor for startups. That is always hilarious. Especially when you get asked what the fuck you advise. But that's one of the things I do. And then I do like work in media, which is also true. But yeah, I say the truth. I don't lie, but it's obviously not even, it's a tiny part of what I do. It's not really what I do, but I just don't want to say I trade crypto for a living. It's the one thing that I'm not gonna be doing. So yeah, I just do that. I tell them I'm in. I tell them I'm into markets basically and move in that space, but I'm not like crypto, whatever, blah blah blah. Why? Because I mean, if you one thing, and I mean, I just find it like bad OPSEC wise. You don't know the person really, and then you're like, okay, I am a crypto trader, and then you show them where you live, and you have no idea what that person like is like. It seems like a bad idea. You don't want to be advertising that. I mean, Germany is a relatively safe space, but still not worth it. And two, like I said, it attracts the wrong kind of people. So you could say you're managing people's money, but I'm not. That is something that I don't do. And I'm glad I don't. Fucking hell, that sounds like a shit job. It's 2022, Don. No need to hide it. Yeah, but it's just not something I want to get into with people that I don't know much. Well, you're managing mine. Fuck off. You do your own shit. I don't want to take any credit for what you do. And I don't want to get any blame either. So you take your credit and you take your blame and go away. If you copy trade what I do, I mean, be ashamed of yourself and don't tell me, please. You're basically a love doctor? The fuck no. Like I said, this is advice from someone that has not, like, I have life I think I have figured out, but the love life, not so much. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt in general. Oh, Jesus Christ, this episode is gonna turn my hair gray. Oh God, people are gonna use this as ammunition if they ever hear about it. That's why I should delete it, but we'll see. I will roofie you and dig all your ledgers from under your bed for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's happened before. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but it's actually happened before. There was a story on crypto Twitter where people on conventions and shit actually got roofied by girls, taken to their place, and then a bunch of men came in and fucking took their shit, and they were like forced to give up their codes and everything, and they like their 2FA, and they got robbed that way. It's happened before. It's not like this shit is like something that never happens. People just tend to ignore it, right? And you don't want to have that happen. Jesus Christ. Imagine getting roofied in your house and then people come in and just fucking steal your shit. Retitled So Casual Friday. It is very casual. It's the most casual Friday I've ever done. I'm surprised so many people actually watch till now. It's obviously less people than normal, but I mean, that is fine. It's actually better. The less people watch, the better this is. It happened recently to a Dutch guy. Yeah, it happened a couple of times. So yeah, you gotta be careful. Jesus Christ, Bitcoin looks like it's gonna dump. I mean, really, it just went from support to resistance and is pulling back a little. It does look a little bit bad, but on the weekly and on the daily, it's kind of fine. Just the monthly. The monthly, if you ignore the monthly, all is good. It's just when you switch over to this tab, it looks like puke. What's your idea of a good night out? Best night out is just with friends going climbing or doing some random shit. It's just how I like to spend my time, like doing something. I'm not necessarily the guy that needs to go for a party. I'd much rather do like fun stuff. I actually went wakeboarding with Salsa Tequila in Dubai, and that was the best meeting I had in Dubai with everyone. It was just like we rented a boat and went out and went wakeboarding, and he actually killed it. And yeah, it was fun. That's the kind of stuff that I like doing. And that's the kind of stuff that I do with people in general. When I meet people, I want to do stuff. Tell me, Doug, what's the meaning of life? For me, it's, I mean, I know that you kind of like just try to pull my leg, but for me, it's kind of just leaving it better than you entered it, right? And making the people around you happy so that you can be happy, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, like just being like living for yourself is all well and good, right? But the most happiness you're gonna get is by making other people happy. That's for me at least. Like it's so much more rewarding to have loving people around you that you can make happy rather than just going through life selfishly and doing whatever you want to be doing. I mean, that's fun as well, and sometimes you want to do that, but in general, I think that's the meaning of life. Just going into it, trying to do as much good for the people that you love as you can, and then going out of it, and yeah. Because I mean, your life is gonna be one amongst many, right? And if you're not religious, it's just you live your life and then you leave, and then that's it. And but if you change things for the better, then you have kind of this effect on the world after yourself, right? Who knows? Like one good deed of yours can change the world for the better for the next 1,000 of years. So I mean, try that. Enjoy life in any way that you wanna. I think that's the way to go about it. And it's obviously easier to say when you don't have to be so worried about your financial situation, which is why I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity that I've gotten in crypto. But yeah, that's kind of my view. It's nice being in the position that we are in. So there you go. So you're a wizard and control people's emotions now because you're making people around you happy. I mean, who knows? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm a wizard duck. Maybe that's how I ball. You wanna meet Don? I promise no roofie. Nah, fuck off. What is going on? Doomed? I mean, crypto-wise, we haven't. Someone, Ricardo just came in and said, "Just arrived. What is going on? Are we doomed?" And we have been talking about like dating for an hour. You can scroll through the entire video and we haven't really talked about crypto at all. It's a weird one, my friend. It's a weird one. I'm not really bullish, but I'm not really bearish either. I'm saying just do whatever you wanted to do during the bull market that you haven't had time for, because fuck this price action, fuck trading it. How much dollars did you first start with in crypto? $50 or like, wait, was it 50? 250? I think it was 250. Yeah, I put in a little bit more at some point, but I put in total, I put in, I think, 2 or 3 grand. All in all. And some of that may have already been compounded, but that's kind of my investment basis, or whatever you want to call it. That's my starting point. That's how I started out, because I started out pretty, like, I didn't have more money than that. Yeah. and then I just built my way up. Obviously, I've now taken money out and back into crypto more than that, right? So it's not like I've never put in money that I've taken out ever, but in general, like, yeah, that's what I started with. 300 euros, you said one. Yeah, 250, 300, and then I put in another little bit at some point. But like I said, that could have already been compounded. I don't quite remember. It's a while ago. But like in the 3 to low 4-figure range. So, yeah. Do you make those troubled girls happy too? I mean, maybe. Who the fuck knows? You would have to ask them. Please don't ask them. Just fucking please don't ask them. But I mean, I try. Like, that's the thing, right? If you date someone or like in general meet someone and they leave with like a worse feeling than they had before they met you, you kind of failed, right? Don, why is 38K technically significant to you? I mean, it's just, you look at this. This is the consolidation that led to the high that started the macro consolidation, right? And the high of that consolidation is 38K. That's why I'm saying 38K is important. And 38K was the range high in here as well. Range high, 38K. Range low was roughly 32K. So you can see that that's been significant. So that's why I think 38K is still significant. Jesus Christ, you guys, you're too curious about my dating life. Oh man. I mean, we can do this again, and only if this video reaches 1,000 likes, because fucking hell, I don't want to do this again. And we're never gonna reach 1,000 likes anyway, so that's my cheat code of getting out of this. You have to convince Cred to do this again if you ever want to do this again. And I don't think you can convince Cred of this, because I don't think he's a fan. What's your scenario if we lose 38K? I think we go to 25. In general, I don't think there's a trade really right now, unless you have an edge in like on the global macro situation. Like if you know where the S&P is gonna go, be my guest, right? But the S&P looks like garbage. So like, do I want to be bidding anything while the S&P looks like this? This is shit. And the answer to me is no. So it's really, really hard to go risk on while the S&P looks like shit, while we might have war or might not. And then crypto looks a little bit better than the S&P, which is a good sign. If you want to be bullish something, the S&P or Bitcoin, be bullish Bitcoin, right? Like, it just makes sense to me. Bitcoin has outperformed the S&P in the last few weeks. Probably going to continue, but if the S&P dumps, we're just going to dump with it. So, yeah. Suddenly, number of likes started going up by 10. Yeah, but I mean, the 10s, I'm not worried about this. We're never going to have to do this again. Like I said, if you can bully Cred into doing this kind of style, I'm down with going with him, like doing this with him again. But like I said, there's no fucking way. Why is 25K significant for you? Also a good question. I think it's the exact right amount to liquidate people that buy like 33. Just roughly. It's like a 20 to 30% drop. So even if you buy it on low leverage, you get fucked. And it's far enough away from support, which is like 20 to 14K, that I think we can have like a nice bounce before we reach support. So people are not going to be prepared to buy because they're waiting for lower, and people have already gotten liquidated. So it's kind of like the perfect sweet spot in between both of those things. That's why I think 25K is interesting. But we don't have to go to 25K. Like I said, like if macro clears up and the S&P goes up, I think crypto goes up. And then we go to 60K. It's just a question of, does it clear up? And given I have no clue and no edge, I just don't mind just not doing anything, right? And I've seen a bunch of people actually, even bigger accounts, post about how they've been blown up or whatever. And I think that's because of overtrading, right? The market has turned boring. and they don't know what to do with themselves. And I just don't want to be involved in that kind of action. Trolls are well fed today. Yeah, I'm gonna never hear the end of what I've been talking about today. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. I'm sorry for this kind of episode. It's a weird one. It's probably not gonna happen again, but it was fun nonetheless. Like, I had fun. Hope you guys had some fun as well, even though it was super fucking weird, and I will probably regret it later, but it is what it is. Yeah, appreciate you guys coming by. Appreciate the sponsor of the show, which is FTX. Like I said at the beginning of the show, they have an excellent mobile trading app that you should test out. The links are in the description. And yeah, appreciate their support, appreciate your support. Please don't roast me too much based on what I have divulged today. And like I said, hope you had fun, because fucking hell, this was a weird experience. But yeah, thanks for coming by. See you guys next time. Bye bye.